Flew for hours and ran out of gas.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Stop. That's not a conspiracy.
No, wait. That's just one of the theories.
Okay.
The other is that Russian special ops took it. Right. Well, these are just the theories that there was a...
Yeah, no, but the theories... If a theory is going to be credible, as far as conspiracies go, somebody's got to be a winner. There's got to be a reason why all these people, or all these money people, or all these government people, or all these special people have this happen in whatever set of circumstances. Otherwise, why would you conspire to nothing?
I don't know, but I'm just saying this is what people are theorizing happened to the flight.
Well, they're just talking at the water cooler. They got nothing to talk about.
You know, that the U.S. military shot it down, or that it's in Pakistan, or, you know. CNN anchor Don Lemon actually suggested that it was a black hole.
And now CNN anchor Don Lemon is looking for a job.
Well, here's something that's not a conspiracy. Mercedes is coming out with a luxury pickup truck.
Ooh.
And I just saw the look on your face, and I would like to have that too. I want to be the first one to have it.
Ooh.
Can we have it?
Yeah.
All right, you find a story, I'll look at the new Mercedes. Well, we're actually getting a new one in a few weeks, so I was going to go SUV, but if this is out, I don't know.
Ooh.
Pretty sexy. Time to upgrade my old one. Yeah.
Damn.
It is nice.
Well, that's kind of, yeah. Wow.
Well, it's time to sign off anyway.
Kind of shocked. Yeah, we are coming up on the end of the show here. And
it was fun. I loved those Would You Rathers. They were funny.
They were. And it was actually kind of entertaining. Yeah, I did enjoy that.
I know.
And if you enjoyed it, you can check out more of our stuff, of course, at HTLARadio1.com. That's the number one, just like us. Again, we are HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk.
That's right. Yes, we are.
And we can legally say that because we're New York's only talk.
Well, we are the innovative Internet's first all talk.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even terrestrial radio in New York, there's no talk stations.
Well, not on FM.
Not even on AM.
There's always
AM 800
wins.
or whatever it is. Oh.
Well, it's not talk like us, but, you know.
No.
It's news.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
so I guess we're it.
Who the hell wants to hear that?
So we are it.
Well, there you go. I've been
the
saying
only
it.
one.
The only one.
We are the one.
Right
That's
there.
Right. Okay.
Well,
I would like to thank HTLA Radio 1 for allowing us to bring you the issues that matter with those that they matter most to. And tonight it was just some fun stuff. Conversations with Kate and Crash, yes. For keeping us on the air, and hopefully many, many more years to come, we shall be here having these fun shows with you. A huge thank you to our sponsors and supporters. And of course, we are nothing without you, our listeners. Last but not at all least, thank you to my producer, co-host, and husband. So fun, so funny. Love you so much.
Oh, yeah.
The one, the only, Christopher John Taylor. Now, be sure to be here next Monday, Meeps, because you
Jeremy
never know.
Irvine.
Oh, that's right. We do know who's showing up to talk straight on Straight Talk. That's right. Otherwise, you never know who's going to show up on Straight Talk to talk straight. But next Monday, the 13th of April, Jeremy Irvine will be here with us. And we're going to have a heck of a fun show then, too.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Be your only one, too, and whatever you do. We will see you next time. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, coffee and cigarettes. Be here.
Or
Good
be
night.
queer.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go.
Listening to Straight Talk with Kate and Crash on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Well, you know. Oh. Thank you, Jenny. But no thank you, Jenny. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it may be to you, gang. It is, of course, 3 p.m. in the afternoon here in the big city of New York. And you do, as the girl said numerous times there, have it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk. Well, and I'm here to prove it today, damn it. For today's Coffee and Cigarettes, the Tuesday Espresso for this Tuesday, the 7th of April, 2015. And how am I going to prove it, you may ask? Well, today on the show, Ferguson voters, of course, rushed to those polls to vote in an all-black city council. Actually, no, they aren't. Well, it was a nice thought, right? And Burma, not wanting anyone to one-up them, has a little Ferguson of their own, of course. And all this while a black father kills himself and his 7 children with stupidity today. And also the White House goes dark today, and we don't mean Obama. Yeah, so much going on today, even including a story about God. And yes, he does indeed hate Africa, and he proves it every year. All that and so much more today, so come on in and grab a cup, have a seat, and light one up. It's the coffee time. Yes.
I can get creative.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yes, you do have it tuned to HTLA Radio 1. Make no mistake. And, well, Jenny's just frickin' loaded. She's drunk. That's what it is. It's got to be it. I don't know what the hell she's doing there, but I'm afraid we're going to have to let her go. We're gonna fire Jenny. Yes, we are, because she's not a social media goddess anymore. She doesn't want to go back on there. Yeah. So yeah. What other use does she have? Oh, right. She pushes the buttons and makes the show go. What a silly man I am. Well, again, welcome to the show, Coffee and Cigarettes, for your Tuesday Espresso, the 7th of April, 2015. Currently, right now in New York Central Park, it's 59 degrees, and well, it's a little cloudy, but it's not raining. So I'm going to go with that. I like that. I'll stay with that. Yeah. And, of course, this show is, as always,
powered by Procast.
I don't even know what that means, but yes, there it is. It is powered by Procast, and we love it. Also brought to you by, of course, Tim Hortons, New York City, with 8 fine locations in the city for all your coffee and baked goods needs. Yes, you want a little taste of Canada? Yeah, Tim Hortons, always fresh. Well, today, we got a lot of stuff to get through, and, well, I'm going to do it, of course, with the help of my /guest/co-host/Terminators, which we all know and love. Of course, coming to us live from Millbay Studios in beautiful Millbay, British Columbia, Canada, as always, is the one, the only filmmaker, documentarian extraordinaire, second only to Werner Herzog. Would be the one, the only Louis Lawless of LDL Films. Louis, are you there, sir?
Which woman are you married to or living with now? The same one? The mother of the daughter, or was it a boy?
It doesn't matter who I'm with, Louis. You're live on the air.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Well, and you know what? We love having you. That's.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
You know better than to ask that every single day. I've got the button here.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
Well, there you go. See? Busted. Again. Yeah. Yes, and there is the cackle of the man. Yes, we know and love there. The one, the only Gilbert Gottfried from his lovely, sprawling, spacious apartment in Manhattan here, just a couple of blocks away from Studio 2.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
Well, I'll give you permission. If you want to have just a couple of blocks away from Studio 2 as your slogan, you go right ahead.
Yes.
Yes. Also joining us from his office in his sprawling mansion, or whatever the heck you want to call it, of course, in Los Angeles, California, actually more specifically Malibu, is the one, the only former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to have you here.
I'm not going to complain about it, right?
Yes.
No, any exposure whatsoever is good, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I know you. You're such a has-been.
Yes.
Well, that's okay. It's good that you're all here. Now, before we get rolling, we got to do our little contractual obligation here. I can't forget this because I got in trouble last week for doing exactly that. So, Gilbert, if you would please take it away.
Na 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 na, ba ma 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 ma. Oh yeah. Who wants to grow up? Who wants responsibility? Oh no, not me. Who wants to show up and work until you're 93?
Yeah.
Now everybody says you're running wild. The teacher's calling you a problem. Ooh. Yes.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much for that, as always. Yes. It's so sensational to hear you sing.
Never. No.
Yes.
Oh, well, hitting up that first story today. What do you think that might be? Do you think it might be Ferguson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. We're in agreement. Residents in Ferguson, Missouri head to the polls today for elections that will change the city council's racial composition. It's funny how they already know that. Yeah. It's fair and nothing quite like a secret ballot. Yes. Well, they're changing that racial composition and, of course, test whether months of protest over racial profiling and police brutality will actually spur higher voter turnout, which last time was only 12%. Well, since that shooting death last summer of an unarmed black teenager by a white police officer, activists in the St. Louis suburb have implored people to channel concerns about discrimination into civic activism. And they've opened a bunch of eBay stores to sell the shoes they earned in looting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the majority African-American town is actually represented by a majority white city council. That's because white folks know how to get stuff done. Timmy Hortons. Well, the majority African-American town is, of course, represented by that majority white city council. A Justice Department report last month confirmed a broad pattern of biased policing that singled out African-Americans for excessive arrests and harsh punishment. The report made no mention that it was the blacks doing all the crime. Yeah. Now, about 14,700 registered voters have a chance to change the face of their leadership on the council, although the blacks would still be committing the crimes. Well, yet, if Tuesday's election mirrors past municipal contests, turnout will be completely low. About 12% of eligible voters cast a ballot in April's mayoral election, says Eric Fay, St. Louis County Director of Elections. Polls close at 7 p.m. tonight. Fay expects a tally by 11 p.m. and a turnout of roughly the same white voters as last time. Yes. The vast majority of Ferguson residents are already registered to vote, Fay said. It's more of a mobilization and turnout issue, he says, and to simplify that for you at home, that just means they need to get off their lazy asses and come vote. Well, candidates are offering residents free rides to the polls, and volunteers are going door to door to get out the vote. Regardless of the turnout, the number of African Americans on the council will at least double because Wesley Bell and Lee Smith, both black, are only candidates for a seat in Ward 3. And that is, of course, the neighborhood where the teenager Michael Brown, 18, died of... well, where he died. That's just where he died.
Yes.
If a black candidate in Ward 1 wins her race, it will be the first time that African Americans control half of the 6 council seats in a city where 2/3 of its 21,000 residents are black. Bob Hudgens, a frequent protester, faces former Ferguson Mayor Brian Fletcher for a seat representing Ward 2 on the council. Both of those men are white.
Yes.
One sitting council member not up for re-election is black, and Mayor James Knowles, who is white, holds the 7th seat of the council. He is not up for re-election. And we got to go through this. That's the story. That's the sum and total of the story right there. And we got to go through that and actually count how many times they've used the word blacks and white. There you go. It's probably... I'm thinking there's about 6 or 8.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for chiming in there, Arnold.
Yeah.
Well, now to more of a world view of Ferguson. Well, actually, no. It's more about Burma.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, there are plenty of reasons why cities and towns in America shouldn't be using military-grade weapons or armored vehicles to scatter protests. Yes. But there's one that might have not occurred to you. Over-the-top police aggression, as witnessed in Ferguson, Missouri last summer, is a gift to authoritarian nations. Yes, thank you. I know how to speak.
Yeah.
Yes. As witnessed in Ferguson, Missouri last summer, is a gift to authoritarian nations looking to justify crackdowns of their own. One of them is Burma. Yeah, the country was for decades notorious for its violent control over dissidents. It had been the recipient of countless lectures from the White House officials and others over the years for subjugating its citizens under military rule. Well, the country is now undergoing a messy transition from despotism to a freer society. But that metamorphosis is far from complete. This was underscored recently when police assaulted unarmed student protesters who rallied to fix a desperately broken education system last month. The peaceful protest took place in the small town of Letpadan, which, like Ferguson, was rocketed from obscurity to a household name. It all ended when rampaging cops started cracking heads and making dubious arrests. A dozen activists remain in prison almost a month later. Yes, the raging cops started cracking heads and making dubious arrests. So I'm assuming they're talking about, I don't know, a billy club, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So using a billy club, probably a riot shield, and dubious. I don't know what dubious arrests are.
Yeah.
Dubious arrests.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
You'd like everything as your slogan, Gilbert.
Yes.
Come on. Well, the peaceful protest took place in the small town of Lepadan, which, like Ferguson, has rocketed from obscurity to a household name. It all ended when those rampaging cops started cracking those heads. The scenes made everyone who follows Burma nervous that the government had regressed. But there is no need to fear, according to Burma's most visible official, Yi Hut, the Minister of Information. After all, he says the United States sometimes uses brute force to break up protests, too. Well, no, we just kill them. Let's get that right off there. There we go, yeah. Well, nobody has spoken of U.S. democracy having backtracked from that. Well, Global Post caught up with Yi Hut in Rangoon, Burma, and asked him to elaborate. Even if the U.S., he said, individual police will react under pressure differently. There's reasonable force and excessive force. That's the problem we're facing. The actions of some individuals didn't meet the code of conduct or our rules for handling demonstrations. Sometimes, Ye Hut said, there's a very emotional response to a situation, and that's why we need more anger management. Well, for decades, the U.S. government slammed Burma's treatment of anti-government protesters, some of whom lionized and even funded by American agencies. Last month, during a speech in Selma, Alabama, President Obama exalted the many dissidents in Burma who, quote, went to prison rather than submit to military rule. Of course, when he comes to arrest all of us, he will be sure to hail us in his many speeches for going to prison rather than submitting to military rule.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, officials in Burma who are near giddy at the prospect of receiving American aid and investment refrain from responding, and anyway, they haven't really earned the moral high ground to do so. The country remains a place where laws are weak and opposing government is dangerous, but it's hard not to detect the Schwan feud some officials in Burma felt after the Ferguson debacle. It's apparently known as a debacle.
Yes.
That's what that is. Apparently, okay, well, we'll let them have that because, you can't argue with Burma.
Yes.
No. You just can't. We're going to go for our first commercial break here on Coffee and Cigarettes today, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about the stupid, oh so stupid father who killed himself and his 7 children. Yes, it's stellar. We'll be back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh, always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stevesville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spritville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Wadmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, none of it. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights. Superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
Now, how did you find out that Sandra Bullock was Jewish?
Well, okay, it's her nose. She's got that nose, that profile.
Yes.
You know, it's just something. It's like a hobby. You know?
Yeah, but how did you? And it would be a Jewish wedding, of course. But how did you find out that Sandra Bullock was Jewish?
What do you got? Wax in your ears? I just told you. Gilbert.
Yes.
I don't know about you.
I've been on enough radio shows to know that in the middle of an answer, the guy is like checking the boards and looking over notes and talking to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. See? Now you're impressed.
Yes. Well, no, you're not doing it. No, you're not doing it. Welcome back to the big program today, the Tuesday Espresso on Coffee and Cigarettes, HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk, of course. Yeah, 59 degrees still in Central Park. Cloudy, but not raining, so I'm okay with that for this Tuesday, April 7th, 2015. And, welcome back to the big show. Got lots of stuff to cover today. All kinds of stuff. The Ultimate in Stupidity, which is up next, of course, and then... we got everything. We even got quotes from Bill Clinton that just make me want to pee. No, it's true story. True story. Lots of those. Parking meters for the homeless.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a true story too. We've got that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Rand Paul and his senseless ramblings for the upcoming 2016 election, and of course, no word on that Hillary camp yet.
Yes.
No, she's just holding out. She's just rented the space and moved everybody in beside Gilbert there.
Yes.
And of course, starting everything up in Brooklyn there, the cartons and crates and crates and crates and nothing but more crates of Hillary for president posters, Those are all there, and I think she got 350 volunteers there right now working, and but she hasn't announced yet, so really we don't want to spoil it for her.
Yes.
No. Let's not do that. So we'll distract you with this story about a stupid black father who killed himself and his 7 children. We'll do that today. And Prince Anne, Maryland, a father and his 7 children died this afternoon from suspected carbon monoxide poisoning at the family's home, emergency officials said. Princess Anne Police Chief Scott Keller said the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Baltimore will make final determination on cause of death. There was no sign of foul play, he said. The children's mother, Taisha Chambers, 36, was notified of the deaths. Bonnie and Lloyd Edwards, encountered outside the home by a reporter from the Associated Press, identified themselves as the mother and stepfather of Rodney Todd, 36, whom they identified as the adult who died. They said Todd had 7 children, including 5 girls and 2 boys. The Edwardses said that the police told them the family died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Bonnie Edwards identified the children as boys Cameron Todd, 13, Zachiam Todd, 7, the girls Tuni Juzia Todd, 15, Tybri Todd, 10, Tanisha Todd, 9, and Tybria Todd, 6. There you go. Whew. Help me get through all them silly names.
Yes.
Yeah. Lloyd Edwards said when police told him Todd had died, quote, "It was disbelief. It's so hard. How can you understand something like this? And how can you understand him, my son, being so goddamn stupid?" Well, he said Delmarva Power had cut off the electricity to the house because of an outstanding bill. Well, to keep his 7 children warm, the moron went out and bought a gas generator. He went and set it up in his kitchen, of course.
Yes.
And the carbon monoxide killed them. There you go. Oh, Matt Likovich, a spokesman for Delmarva Power, would not say Monday night whether the power had been cut off. He said the matter is being investigated, of course. But yes, they did cut them off. Bonnie Edwards described her son as loving, caring young man who set an example for his children, but he was just too stupid to live. I don't know anyone his age who would have done what he did for his children, she said. I was so proud that he took care of 7 kids. As Keller said, police were sent to Antioch Avenue about 1 p.m. yesterday to check on Todd, who had shown up for work, who had not shown up for work. Why is that odd? A co-worker filed a police report asking officers to check on the family. Stephanie Wells, a food service supervisor at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, said she saw him last on March 28th, which was the last day anyone had spoken to any of the victims. The receipt on the kitchen table was dated March 28th. Yeah. Well, Todd had worked at the university apparently since August of 2014. Wells said that he was nice and helpful. He would always talk about his kids. He was my big teddy bear, she said. When Todd didn't come into work Saturday and didn't call as he usually would, Wells became concerned, and although she contacted police, she said she wasn't expecting this kind of a sad, stupid outcome. Yeah. Well, inside the victim's home, police said they found a gas generator in the kitchen that had run out of fuel. The house did not have electricity. You can draw your own conclusions, Keller said. When police entered the dwelling, they could tell something was wrong. Damn, they're good police there. Yeah. Well, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, unintentional exposure to carbon monoxide caused an average of 430 deaths a year nationwide between 1999 and 2010. Maryland averaged 1.43 deaths per 1 million people from the gas from 1999 to 2004, while the national rate was 1.53 deaths. In that total number of 430 deaths, 93% were black people. Well, in a 2006 gas leak at Ocean City Hotel, it took the lives of a father and a daughter who succumbed to carbon monoxide poisoning. Ocean City Town Council amended a 2007 law mandating that carbon monoxide detectors in hotels and condo buildings, removing an exemption that allowed some units not to have them. Well, it didn't do Mr. Todd too much good, did it? Yeah. Yeah, of course, the onlookers, the ooglers, as it were, well, they gathered and consoled each other as police began removing the 8 bodies from the home this afternoon. Emergency officials said crisis counselors will be spread throughout the Somerset County public school system this week to help with grieving students dealing with stupidity. What can you do? What can you do?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there it is. That's pretty much the ultimate in dumb that I think I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you have sharks in both tanks.
Oh, well, sure. But man, this is one stupid mother.
When you say that, you get away with it. If I would say that, it would be all over the place.
Well, we've got some serious problems in Washington today. Yes, power outages reported at the White House. Oh my gird. Washington today, in an explosion at a Maryland power plant, which took place this morning, it resulted in a region-wide power outage that affected even the White House, the Capitol, the University of Maryland, and other buildings in D.C., according to Maryland on Tuesday afternoon, according to an unnamed official. Yes. Well, the D.C. Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management spokeswoman Robin Johnson told the Associated Press that the outage actually affected 8,000 customers in the district. Southern Maryland Electric Company shows approximately 21,832 customers without power right now on their outage map. Spokesman Tom Dennison said the outage is due to a transmission line problem, and they're trying to track it down. More than 2,000 Pepco customers are without power in the capital city today at this hour. The Associated Press reports that even the White House and the Capitol building were affected by the outage. People are also reporting power outages in parts of Maryland, including the university. The university's president tweeted that the campus will close at 2 p.m. due to the outage, and crews are helping people stuck in elevators and locked buildings. The FBI reported that there was nothing immediately nefarious about the power outage except for that big explosion. Yes, of course. Washington Metro Area Transit Authority officials tweeted that some train stations were on emergency lighting, but that all trains had power and were moving along quite nicely. Thank you. Union Station, the city's commuter and Amtrak station, lost power, according to the VRE, at about 1:15 p.m. this afternoon. Trains were held until power was restored. Trains were delayed between 10 and 30 minutes. The power also reportedly went out while Oprah Winfrey was talking at the dedication ceremony for the Maya Angelou postage stamp. The most powerful, rich woman in the world, and she's dedicating a postage stamp. Well, it's lights out for Oprah. The Smithsonian tweeted that some of its museums were impacted and they were evacuated by the outage. Some of the outages have been as brief as power that was restored at the Capitol and the White House. Of course, they were just off for a few seconds. Not even long enough for some Secret Service guy to concoct a joke about not paying the bill.
Yes.
There you go. So they went dark at the White House. There you go. Well, moving on this afternoon, we've got more airplane deaths. Yes, deaths reported as plane flying from Indiana crashes in Illinois. In Indianapolis today, a small plane that took off in Indianapolis has crashed into central Illinois, the Federal Aviation Administration has confirmed. National Transportation Safety Board has confirmed there were fatalities, but could not say how many. Well, I'll tell you what, if the plane only holds 4, I'm going to go with 4. Yes, the Cessna 414 was carrying 5 to 7 people. Damn it! You'd think I'd pre-read these stories so I don't look like that much of an ass.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's the difference between you and me, Arnold. I don't care about looking like an ass. Yeah. Well, it was carrying 5 to 7 people and crashed just short of the Bloomington, Illinois airport after midnight on Tuesday, the FAA said. The Chicago Tribune reported 5 people who were departing Indianapolis after the NCAA men's basketball championships were killed in the crash. Damn it, we've lost 5 more sports fans. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, I guess try and recruit 5 more sports fans. Yeah. Well, the Tribune, I can speak, cited a man named Scott Barrows who said his son-in-law was the owner of the plane and among those killed. CBSSports.com, citing multiple sources, said Illinois State Associate Head Coach Tory Ward was on the plane while returning from the Final Four. The FAA initially reported 5 people were on the flight, but in a later update said there have been as many as 7 people. The agency cautioned all information is preliminary. Yeah. Emergency crews located the plane around 3:15 a.m. this morning, and Sergeant Bill Tate in McLaren County Sheriff's Office said. Tate said he did not have any information about the condition of those on board, but said the coroner was called out to the scene because of the red milkshake inside. Yeah. Nothing quite like taking down a nice red milkshake in the spring there. And this is important. This should have been story number 1 today, but of course Jenny's sick or something. I got to apologize for some of the stuff she's been playing today. She's been playing commercials and stuff over everything and not hitting the right buttons.
Yes.
Really, we just keep her around for a nice set of boobs. Well, anyway, the number 1 story today really should have been, and is this now. We're going to do this.
Yes.
Do this right now.
Yeah.
God hates Africa. Allow me to be more specific.
Yeah.
Yes. Bad news for us landlubbers. That's right. Here's where lightning strikes most often, ladies and gentlemen. Lightning strikes more often than it does over water on land. Yes, NASA reported this, and things are particularly bad near the equator. In fact, some 90% of all lightning on Earth strikes between the 38th parallels north and south. Want more specifics? Well, here, I'll give you one. There's a new NASA photo. A new NASA photo reveals where lightning strikes occur most frequently, and each year a new photo is released, and, well, today is no different.
Yes.
Yes, the new NASA map reveals where it most occurs, and there's two top spots on the map here. The first one that they mention is Venezuela's Lake Maracaibo, which gets major storms thanks to local heat, humidity, and windiness. According to an IO9 report from a few years ago, the area's residents experience so much lightning that they need to shut their blinds 300 nights a year. Each night brings some 40,000 strikes. Well, if you think that's a lot, then you don't know about the Democratic Republic of Congo. Yes, the global hotspot, the place that God hates the most, is in the Democratic Republic of Congo between the country's Mako National Park and Itombwe Nature Reserve. It's not such a very big area, but it gets more than 10 million lightning strikes each year, compared to the just 2 million that all of Canada gets. There you go.
Yes.
Well, as for why the equator experiences so much lightning and why it happens to be more on land than water, Popular Science explains that it's a result of heat. The equator is, of course, hot thanks to the amount of sun it gets. Meanwhile, land gets hot faster than water does. This map comes from the data of 2 satellites collected between 1998 and 2013. And they're saying that the lightning is going to increase in Africa in the next few years. There we go. They're all going to die. And we got to go for our next commercial break. But when we come back, rest assured, don't worry. We've got that story about the homeless parking meters coming up next, CN2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it. Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonnieville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, Nunavut. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You gotta dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Yeah, I'll dispense more love to those German opera singers out there. You gotta love the German opera singers.
So, because I always thought she admits to being German. Oh,
Who?
yeah. That's,
Huh?
or I don't know if but like her mother was a big German opera star.
That's right, and you're talking about Sandra Bullock again, yeah, because, you never change. No. But, yeah, she is, and her mother is a German opera singer, and I'm dispensing the love, damn it.
I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
Yeah, well, you can't because it's mine.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Welcome back to the big show today, the Coffee and Cigarettes, the Tuesday Espresso for you here on the 7th of April, 2015. Still 59 degrees in Central Park and cloudy, but hey, it's not bad. At least it's up minus 222.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So, of course, as always, this show is brought to you by Tim Hortons, New York City, and now with 8 locations all throughout the big old city here to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. Check them out. Get down there. Tim Hortons, always fresh. Someone else who, well, used to be fresh, but now she just lost her shit is the one, the only Jenny McCartney. I don't know what's wrong with her today. She's losing her stuff, but it's actually really a miracle that we're back from commercial.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, we're here and everything's good, right, Arnold?
I'm not going to complain about it, right?
No, you shouldn't. No. Well, let's see. I said I was going to tell you about the parking meters for the homeless. So I'm going to get right into the parking meters for the homeless. Yeah. Meters help give homeless a hand up, apparently. Feed a meter and help the homeless. That's the thrust of a new program in downtown Indianapolis to help keep people off the street. Run by the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention, the No Outlets campaign places red and white parking meters reading "Donate Here" in front of many downtown businesses. The collections will go to street outreach teams that provide food, supplies, and services to the city's estimated 8,000 people who are homeless at any time in a year, says Jennifer Hunt, a spokeswoman for the CHIP program. Teams are made up of people from 16 different organizations, Hunt said. They include police, nonprofits, health, and medical professionals. So far, they've put up 10 meters today, and 15 others are slated to be installed in the coming week. The meters were donated by Park Indy, the company that has the contract, of course, to run the city's parking meters. Hunt said officials don't expect the meters to generate much revenue, but selling sponsorships of them is really where it's at. So far, 7 businesses have bought one-year sponsorships for $2,500 apiece. That's where the real money is, and that comes in yearly, says Adam Eisen, regional director of Park Indy. Park Indy helped pick the locations, donated and installed the meters, and makes collections. We thought it was a great opportunity to leverage our expertise and partake in a worthwhile project as a community partner, Eisen said. The meters are old-fashioned kind, the old-fashioned kind, that hold about $35 in change, but the campaign said larger donations can, of course, be made with a credit card through the Park mobile app. Each meter will have the number 5669KNOW that can be entered to make a credit card donation. They can also be made to the No Outlets website at www.nooutlets.org. For years, the city has had collection boxes downtown that benefited homeless services, but they too drew modest donations. Officials here got the parking meter idea from Denver, which has been doing it since 2006. Its Road Home Better Way to Give campaign has raised an average of $7,300 a year. Oh, wow, thanks a lot. I think I pay that in taxes on my McDonald's bill every year, you know? Makes you feel good, you know? You could pay the tax on your French fries, or you could donate to the homeless, yeah. You know, why do programs that generate shit?
Yes.
What is that? What is that? You couldn't even pay a minimum wage employee for a year on that. Oh, well, I guess I should quit being a little prick and just roll along with the good feeling.
When
you know?
You say that, you get away with it. If I would say that, it would be all over the place.
Well, yeah, because, Mr. Moneybags, you know, if you cough up $7,300 a year for the homeless, Arnold, I will kick you in the balls. That's that's a joke, and that's not even funny. Yeah. Yeah, so they make $7,300 an average year in meter collections and $17,400 in sponsorships, says Julie Smith, a spokeswoman for Denver Human Services. The city counted 5,200 homeless in its latest survey and has 82 meters across the city so far. Denver recently tried a new collection strategy that has worked out even better, Smith said. Receptacles at Denver International Airport security checkpoints give travelers the option of donating to the homeless. The loose change may just empty from their pockets. The receptacles brought in $82,000 the first year and $88,000 the second year, Smith said. Well, see, now that's a little more workable. These programs could actually, function a little bit, maybe.
Yes.
Well, Hunt said Chip was aware of the program but had not discussed implementing one with Indianapolis International Airport. The city has had a tense relationship with the homeless for the past decade. After Bert Peterson became mayor in 2000, he drew up a 10-year blueprint to end homelessness. The effort helped shine a light on the problem, but the plan was hampered by the Great Recession, causing more homeless. It always sucks. You come along, you get elected mayor, and you're like, I'm going to make a difference. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to eliminate homelessness in 10 years. Oh, Obama, 2008, nothing. Yes, your $550,000 house is now worth $5,000.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, well, since then, the city council has considered ordinances to limit aggressive panhandling. The city officials have had an oscillating relationship with occupants of several homeless camps, at times clearing out entire dwellings. Well, I'm sure that relationship is a real good one. Can't you just see it? Come on, get out of here, you filthy bums.
Yes.
God damn it, we're eliminating homelessness. Yeah, get out of here. Recently, Mayor Greg Ballard vetoed a homeless Bill of Rights because he said then we couldn't kick them out of their camps. Yeah. It would have exposed the city to extreme legal liability.
Yes.
Right. Well, the ordinance would have established specific rights for the homeless and would have made it more difficult to relocate them. The council recently approved $562,000 for a homeless engagement center where intoxicated homeless people could get married. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I misread that. The engagement center is actually where intoxicated homeless people who get arrested could spend time rather than jail.
Yes.
There you go. That's what I meant to say there. Well, moving on today, we got all kinds of stuff. Now, last week about this time, I told you about the world's oldest woman. She was 118 years old, and she died. And then, if you recall, later in the week last week, I told you about the woman who took her place. She was 116 years old. Well, she died.
Yes.
So now, this week, the oldest woman is a Michigan woman. She's 115 years old, and the number just keeps dropping. But she is now officially the world's oldest person at 115, and we're just going to keep her going as long as we can for the record. Yeah. Well, in Inkster, Michigan, the front door flew open as a reporter approached a brick ranch house in Inkster, and a voice called out, "Come on in, I've got Time Magazine on the phone." The speaker stood Thursday night over a placid figure dressed in a pale pink nightgown named Geraldine Taylor, a bright-eyed elderly woman in spectacles who, despite her profound hearing loss, was fully aware, relatives said, that she'd just been declared a gerontology experts to be the oldest person in the world. It's truly incredible because Mrs. Taylor is very aware of what's going on around her. Her mental state is very sharp, said Michael Kinlock, 56, of Canton, a GM engineer and longtime friend of the Taylors through their church. It's unfortunate that other people have passed away, but this has certainly elevated her. She's feeling no pain. She just can't get around like she used to, Kinlock said, who sat on a couch as he gestured to the walker that stood before Taylor's easy chair. He says sometimes she asks him to get it for her, and he just says, "Get it yourself, woman." And he attributes that to keeping her young.
Yes.
There you go. Yes, well, Taylor, who will turn 116 coming up on May 23rd, climbed up on the top spot after Gertrude Weaver, of course, the oldest person for just 5 days, died Monday in Arkansas. She was 116 years old. And moving on, I've got some, News about a Canadian artist who's actually kicking butt and taking names. Yeah. No, true story. This artist adds Darth Vader, Spock, and a whole bunch of other trademarks he's not licensed to. And he adds these illegal paintings to thrift shop paintings he buys for $1.
Yes.
Yes, dreary paintings of landscapes at thrift shops and yard sales may look like junk, but to Canadian artist David Irvine, the paintings just need to be, quote, redirected. The artist adds flair by painting in pop culture icons and creatures from his imagination into the scenes because art materials are expensive. Irvine says he's always looked to repurpose canvases and frames. One day a few years ago, I had a beach scene painting that was salvaged from the curb. For some reason, I had a vision of reapers playing with a beach ball. Yes, I get that all the time.
Yes.
He says, I painted them in and it sold immediately online, Irvine told USA Today in email. I knew I was onto something. Irvine sells his paintings for, of course, $250 to $800, depending on the size and the shipping costs. He also sells his work on Etsy.com, and some of his work is also on display at the Flying Pony Gallery in Toronto. Irvine says he never paints the original painter's signature and tries to adapt the traits of the original painting, according to his website. While he's open to painting iconic figures into the works, he says his real passion is using his own creativity. Now, this is where it gets good. All right? Stay with me. My favorite character, he says, is my own because then it kicks it up to another level to make it stand on its own, Irvine says. I'm not just a photocopier. I get more pleasure on a personal level creating something from scratch. Irvine says that while he's become known for his thrift shop paintings, it's just one chapter of his work. He also makes, here we go, ornaments from burnt-out light bulbs. He also is quite the handyman around the landfill, salvages wooden furniture and paints other original works onto the furniture. The common thread is the art of repurposing old and discarded items, he says. There is still far too much waste in this modern age, with potentially great things ending up in a landfill. And that drives me crazy. Even items in thrift shops are discarded if they don't sell, Irvine says, and he says, I make good. Yeah. Well, a recent painting that sold on Etsy for $850 of Darth Vader mowing the lawn has caused an $850 million lawsuit from George Lucas.
Yes.
There you go. Well, I'm kidding, but you know it's coming. All right, now in a story that should be at the top of the news, but it's down at the bottom of the news because, well, I guess it's supposed to be at the bottom of the news because it really is bottom of the news. Yes, the Clinton 2016 campaign is doing nothing.
Yeah.
But we do have this quote from Bill Clinton on the prospect of a Hillary Clinton presidency. And here we go. Quote, It's hard for any party to hang on to the White House for 12 years, and it's a long road. 1,000 things could happen. Yes, that was the former President Bill Clinton on the prospects of Hillary Clinton in an interview with Town & Country today about his philanthropic foundation. Yeah, it's hard for any party to hang on to the White House for 12 years, and it's a long road. 1,000 things could happen under the desk. Oh, I didn't know. Under the desk is something I added.
Yes.
That's not actually the quote there. So, yeah, just take the other quote. That's what I meant. And, of course, moving on in election 2016 news, because it is at the very bottom toilet of our news hour. Rand Paul's views from tax cuts to Iran talks. You know, this is important.
Yes.
Well, when Senator Rand Paul spoke in February to a conservative gathering just outside the nation's capital, the Kentucky Republican promised to propose a tax cut. Now he says that's off the table. No, it's not off the table. He says not just any tax cut, but actually the largest tax cut in American history, Paul told the Conservative Political Action Conference. The details of his plan would be revealed, quote, in the coming weeks.
Yes.
Now, as he announces a White House bid, Paul's vision of what amounts to a massive taxpayer refund from the government he wants to make smaller is certain to be a centerpiece of his campaign. He's going to buy your vote. Now, if you remember, Paul cut his political teeth on the theme of reducing the size of government and slashing spending. His Tea Party-backed candidacy for the Senate in 2010 was successful largely because he adhered to that message. But based on his talking points during his travels around the country over the past couple of years, taxes, spending, and the role of government are just some of the issues likely to form the core of his bid. The senator's overall message, as he articulated in his response to President Obama's State of the Union address in January, is, quote, all is not well in America. America is adrift. And the cure for that, Paul said, was new leadership. And if he is chosen to lead where he has stood on some of the key issues, we can't help but win. It's time for change. There you go. You know, I think he could actually cut, a lot of that government spending if he just gets the posters from Obama 2008, right? Oh, yeah. It says the same thing. It's time for damn change.
Yes.
Come on. Yes, and finally today we've got some New York City news, and it's pretty big. HTLA, of course, will be there to bring it to you live. Yes, we will. At One World Trade Center. Yes, and I'm going to get Gilbert. You're coming.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If there's one place I want to be with Gilbert Gottfried, it's definitely at the top of the World Trade Center. Yeah. Yes. Well, the One World Trade Center Observatory is scheduled to open in May. Soon, visitors will be able to travel to the very top of the tallest building in the USA in just 60 seconds. And Gilbert, you'll see the concrete again in just 40 seconds. Yeah. The observatory at the top of the One World Trade Center will open to the public officially May 29th. The observatory is on the top 3 floors of the building and is 1,250 feet in the air. A height which I think would finally do in the Gilbert. There you go. The resurrected World Trade Center opened its doors for business back in November, 13 years after the 9/11 terror attacks. The observatory is offering free admission to 9/11 family members and to the rescue and recovery workers who responded to the terror attacks on September 11th and the months after. Admission rates vary, with $32 tickets for ages 13 to 64, $26 for ages 6 to 12, and $30 for those 65 and older. The 104-story, $3.9 billion skyscraper sits on the 16-acre site where the Twin Towers once stood. More than 2,700 people died there in the 2001 attack. The panoramic views from the observatory evoke feelings of the city's signature pride, hope, and determination, according to the statement of One World Observatory. Well, to me, it exemplifies and marks the end of Gilbert Gottfried.
Power tends to corrupt. Absolute power corrupts absolute.
Yeah. It does.
That's what they've done. They've reached a particular point that they feel they're untouchable.
Well, that's all going to end on March 29th for Gilbert. Yeah, we're taking them out. And speaking of taking them out, it is time, folks. 4:03 in the afternoon. We are done. We are out of time for coffee and cigarettes today. Still 59 degrees in the city, cloudy, and it's not a bad April 7th, so get out there and do something. Sure to tune in tonight for yours truly with my Crash Talk rant. It's coming 9 p.m. Eastern, of course, on HTLA Radio 1. Be sure you don't forget to miss that one. And Louis, thank you for being here. You're always great. Love having you.
Didn't you read the goddamn script? I sent it to you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what else I was supposed to say there, but thank you anyway.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Well, and it's always good to have you. So there you go, Gilbert. Your days are numbered, my friend.
Yes.
And so until then, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for listening and support the show for the love of God.
And of course, Arnold, I kept you quiet for most of the day there, and I feel okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So all the best to your lovely wife and your wonderful children, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and I'll be back.
Yeah, you say that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and to all of you, have a great April 7th, and we'll, of course, see you here tomorrow for the Wednesday Grinder. Yeah, we'll treat that hump day with everything it deserves, bitch. Yes, and we'll check you all later. Have a great one.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.